back. In this video we are focusing on forms in Microsoft Access. We're focusing on forms in Microsoft Access. Forms are what users usually interact with in a database system. So what are forms? What are forms? A form is a user-friendly interface for entering, for viewing, and for editing data in a database table. A form is a user-friendly interface for entering, viewing, and editing data in a database table. Just take note of these three: entering data, editing data, and for viewing data. These are what we do with a form in a database. In professional systems, users should never work directly with tables. Instead, users should interact with the database via forms. In a professional system, users should never work directly with tables. They should interact via forms. So forms protect the database from errors and improve usability. So our database. In this tutorial, we are going to be using the order management database. This is the database we have been using in this tutorial series. When we did database table creation, we created this database and we had three tables: the customer tables, the employees tables, and the order tables. So these are the tables we'll be using in the creation of forms. Remember, we said forms is for viewing, for editing, and also for entering data. So this data we are going to be entering via forms are going to be occupying, or they are going to be stored in these tables. This data we are going to be viewing, they are going to be coming from these tables. So we'll be going now to the practical aspect of this tutorial. Okay, here is our order database, order management database. As you can see, the customer table, the employees table, and the order table are already existing. And from our video, the last video we did, we created a query which we tagged, or we called query by name. Remember this so well, whereby if you want to query a table by a particular name, you will do that by the query we created. So today we are going to be working with forms. So to create form, you go to create, then you must also select the table you want to access through the form. So we want to create a form for the customer table. So I'll select customer. I'll just go straight. Let me just go straight to forms. Once you do that, the form is already created for you. The form is already created for you, as simple as that. So through this form now, you can see we are viewing the customer ID. Number 1 is John Paul. This is this because the customer table is linked to the order table, so we can also view the order placed by the customer John. We can see customer John placed this order because of there's a relationship between the customer table and the order table. So if you click on this navigation pane, you click on next record, that gives us the next customer, which is Ede Paulina. He has 2 orders, or she has 2 orders. We have Yusuf Aisha had 1 order. Ifeanyi Anyora has 2 orders. Then Okechukwu has 1 order. Esho Sandra has 1 order also. Then that's the end of our table or records in this customer table. So now we can now enter records through this table. So maybe first name Akpan Michael. When this is the name, phone number 0807 345 6432. Address 34 Paulson Street, city of the street. The city of the street is Auchi. So when you click next, this order is already, it has entered the table. It has entered the table. So if I go to the customer table, this is a form. This is a form. Even though it bears the name customer, I should save it before it can appear on the list of my objects. So I'll click on save. I'll call it form customer, FRM customer. So when I say OK, you will now say it has appeared here as one of the objects of my database. So I can close it, but take note, about Michael, the 7th customer, was added via a form. So I'm going to go to the table to see if this appeared on the table. So I'll click on this. You can see that about Michael is appearing on the customer table. So we were able to make this data entry through the form customer. We're able to make this entry through from customer. So if you have seen data entry, you can also edit data. Maybe Okechukwu Ume, you can say Okechukwu Johnson. When you move, okay. I close this again. If I check the table customer, you'll see that it's no more Okechukwu Ume, it's Okechukwu Johnson. So what we have just done now is data editing. We have edited existing data in the table via a form. So this is the form we have created. The same thing if we want to create a form for employees. I will select employees. I'll go to create, that I will select the table that I want to create form for, employees table. I'll go to create. I'll now say form. You see, a form is already created. I can view the items of this form, the elements of this form, elements of this form. So that's the end of it, just 6 items. I can as well add one more employee. So maybe employee name, Abbas. Sorry. So let me see. Let me save it first. From employees. FRN employees. Click OK. Why is it? Okay, let me. Okay. Abbas. I was working in the design view before. So, I was working in the layout view. So that was why. But when I went back to form view, I could do that. So Abbas Lukman, job title, sales rep, phone number 0806 873 4576. So once I move to the next record, it becomes recorded, it enters. So maybe I have a new employee, and maybe that's a Faith Operum face, okay, face open Operum, yeah, Operum face Operum, job title maybe accountant, phone number 0807 988 7765. I'll click on this, it has entered. So all these records, now if you check, so you save your form. If I close this, I just close it. Let me close customer form. When I go to employee table, you will see the items have been entered into the table. So we were able to enter these new records into our table via form. So we have created two forms. I have demonstrated data entry through forms. I've also demonstrated data editing through our form. Then, of course, this is data viewing, but there is a new twist to this. Remember, we said in our previous video that sometimes, or many a time, queries are the background or the data source of certain forms. So, assuming I want to have a form that have multiple values from all these tables now. Maybe I want a form that will give me the order name, the order ID, order date, order amount, order description, then the customer that placed the order, and the employee that also brought about that processed the order. You see that not all the 6 items I am asking for came from the 3 tables. They came from the 3 tables, and I told us in the previous video that to be able to combine data from multiple tables, what we'll need is a query. So therefore, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a query that will pick all these items that I have just mentioned, and then use that query as the source for my new form. And that one will just be a view only form. A view only form. So what I will do now, I'll go to create. I'll say design query. Design query. Okay, I'll pick my tables. Good. So what items do I want to appear on this query? What are the items I want to appear on this query? I want order ID to appear on this table. I have order ID. I want the order date to appear on the form I want to view. Then I want amount. Then I want to see the description of the order. Then I also want to see the customer that placed the order by first name. I want to see the customer that the employee that placed the order also by first name. So I want to sort this by the order ID. I don't want to have any criteria, so this is a query. When I run this query, it's going to filter all this information. Okay, another thing I want to do, under the name, I want to change it to I'll change the caption. Instead of just first name, I can just say customer. I will say customer name. Then for the first name, I will say the name of the employee. I will just say processed by. That will be the heading when I query this particular database. So when I run, good. So this is the result of my query. This is a query view. So you can see the order ID, order date, amount, description, customer name. Where is the customer name coming? It's coming from the customer table. Processed by is also coming from the employees table. So now, assuming I want a form that will now view this kind, that will give me all this kind of information, one record at a time. Remember, form shows you one record at a time. This is a query, it shows us all the records, but forms gives you one record at a time. So I'll have to save this query. I'll save it as, okay, I can just call it order query. Order. I can call it order query. So when I save it, good, you can see there's order query existing. Let me close it down. Employees table, let me also close it. So what we want to do now, I want to create a form from this query, so that the form will just not give me one item, not just give me item from one table. It will give me items from multiple tables, which we generated from our query. So I will select the query and click on create. I'll select form. Good. So when you look at this, you'll see that I have order ID, order date, amount, inverter, customer, the description, the customer name, and process by. So I'll go to form view, so I can see all the records, all my records, this order, who placed it, customer name, okay, process by. Remember, there is no one table that have all these values. Each of the tables are on their own. The true form that was generated from a query, we're able to see this. So we are seeing this from okay, this is our form. So I have to now save it. You save it, you give it a name. What name do you want to call this? You can call it order form. You can call it form. You can call this form. Okay. Form. Call it order details. Order details. Okay. So it's now existing in our list of forms. So we have 3 forms now. We have from customer that came from customer table, we have from employee that came from employees table, and we have from details or other details that came from the order query. It came from the order query. Okay? So one record at a time, one record at a time, one record at a time, one record at a time. Then let's observe something. You know, in other forms, we're able to make entries. But look at this one. You can't make entry here. You can't make entry. Even if you select, nothing shows. The reason why we cannot make entry through this is because our data source is not a table directly. Rather, our data source is a query. And I told us that queries do not store values. Queries do not store values. Queries can only view values. So this is why a form you create through a query, you cannot use it to make data entry. You cannot also use it to make data editing. If you want to make data entry or data editing, you have to create a form directly from a table. You have to create a form directly from a table. Okay? One more thing. You know, there is a form we have not actually created. We have created form for our customer. We have created form for employees. They have not created form for entering order details. You know, the form order details we have is the one that gives you view everything about order. But as when you want to enter new order through a form, we have not created a form for that. So we are going to do that now and pay attention to what we are going to do. I'll say create. I'll also say form. All right. There is something that I want us to take note of. Because order is linked to customer table and employee table, it may not be possible for someone to remember all the order ID, all the customer IDs, all the employee IDs. Maybe you are entering this value, you may make mistake trying to enter the customer IDs and the employee IDs. So we are not going to allow this table to be like this. We are going to remove this particular. We are going to go to, let's go to design view. Let's go to design view. Okay, what are we going to do? We are going to remove this customer text box. So right click it and you say delete. Also, for the same thing for employee ID, we don't want somebody to make mistake while entering it, so we want to remove it. But yet remember, it is part of the order table. You cannot create an order table without providing it. So we're going to make use of what we call a combo bus. A combo bus will help us solve this challenge. So I'm going to, this is a combo bus. I'll click it. Alright, it says unbound. I want the combo bus to get the values from another table or query. I say yes, that's what I want. Remember, this is for, I want to pick value for the customer ID. So I'll click next. Which table do I want to pick my value from? I want to pick value from customer because it's customer ID I want there. So I'll pick value from customer. I'll click next. Okay, what are the items I want to show? Because when we talk about combo bus drop list of values for you so you can select. So which values do you want to select from your combo bus? I want to select the customer ID and also want to select the customer first name. So I just want to put it this way, and I'll say just these two items is what I want to be appearing on the combo bus. So I'll click next again, and I want to sort by customer ID, then sort again by first name. So I'll click next. Okay, as you can see, it says hide the key. Yes, in this case maybe I don't want the key to appear, but if I want the key to appear, I will select this hide the key so that it will show me both the customer ID and the first name. Show me both the customer ID and the first name. But as means you don't want the customer ID to show, you hide it. Hiding it does not mean it's not there. Hiding it is just that you want to select by customer name, but when you select by customer name, it is still linked to the ID. But let me just leave it. But they say it is recommended that you hide it. But let's just leave it. So available fields, I say click, I say next, I say what label would you like this to have? I can just call it customer ID separated. I'll now say finish. Okay, let's come back. We're still working. Let me align it with the other text boxes, labels. Okay, then you can see what it says. Say unbound. Unbound means that we have not completed our linking of this item. When we want to say bound, we want to bound a text box or combo box to a data source. So I'm going to go to data. Go to data. I'll go to data. Then make sure you select just only the combo box, not along with the label beside it. So the combo box, the data source. So we're looking for control source. Our data, where is it going to be stored? The data that you want, what we want. Remember, our table has a customer ID. So the value that will come from the from this combo box, where will it be stored? We want it to be stored in order ID, because that is actually it's not order ID, it's customer ID that we want to store. So we are going to select customer ID. That is the value that this box is going to store when we enter our values here. So whatever value is there is going to be saved in the customer ID in the order table. So the next thing is, where will our value be coming from? The first thing is, where should our value be stored? And we're going to store our value in the customer ID field of the order table. But the next thing now, the value, where will it be? What's the source of this value? That's what we call row source. Under row source, you select. Our value is going to be coming from the customer table. It's going to be coming from the customer table. So I'm going to select customer. So now this combo box we are done with it. It has what now? A source, and it has a destination. Destination is the control source, while the source is the row source. So we have done this. We are going to do it again for the employee ID. So we are going to do another combo box for the employee ID. It's unbounded. Click next. It's for employee table. Click next. I want employee ID to show. I also want the employee first name to show. I'll click next and sort by employee ID. Then if there are two, okay, then sort by first name anyway. Okay, you click next. Okay, if you hide it, it will be hidden. If you don't want to hide it, you can choose not to hide it. You can let me hide it in this case. I'll hide it, then I'll say next. Remember, I hid it. Take note, I hid it does not mean it's not there. It's there, but it will not show. So I'll click next. Click next. I'll call it processed by. Processed by. That's what I want it to be. I'll say finish. So I'll also align it with the other items in this combo box. Then it's unbound. So remember, we are going to be looking for two things. One, where will this value be stored? Where will this value be stored? That's the first one. Then the next one is, where will the value be coming from? Remember, the idea of a combo box is so that you don't have to type the value for it by yourself. The value should be existing. You now select. So since you are going to be selecting, you have to specify where the value is coming to come from, and after you have selected, where will the value be stored? So where will the value be stored? We'll go to control source under data. It's going to be stored under the employee ID of the order table. So then the next thing here, where is the source of this? The source is coming from where? It's coming from the employee table. This customer ID is coming from the, employee ID is coming from the employee table. Okay. There are other things you can actually do under form design. You can choose to change the color. If you select here, you can go to format, background color. You can get a background color. Maybe I want okay, I have this, I want this background color, assuming that's what you want. Or you can have maybe a light blue background color, something like this. You can also change the colors of all this, but because of time, so any item you select, you can go to the background color, and so there are a lot of things you can change here: text, font size, and all the rest of them. You can change it under format. But because of time, I won't be doing all that. Just this we have done is a bit enough. So having done that, we'll now go and view this form. We view this form. So you are seeing, no, we are viewing, 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 we are viewing. This is a new order now. So a new order date is today. Description, maybe which item, maybe hybrid inverter, amount 300,000. Then customer ID. I don't want to make mistake. I can't type here. I'll come here. Which of the customer? Already all the customer that are in this database, in the customer table, will be listed here. So I don't need to now be guessing. So I know, assuming I don't know their customer ID, but I know them by name, I'll say, yes, it's Sandra that actually bought this thing. So once I put select Sandra, what will show is not Sandra, but it's what? It's a customer ID, because that's what I actually wanted to show them. Then I come here, which of the employee, which of the staff processed this? Is Maria. Good, Maria did that. But remember, I said that the employee ID should hide. But when I move to the next record, let's go back. I want us to go back to the order table. Remember, this thing is showing Maria. It's showing Maria. But when we go to the order table, we will see whether it will show Maria or the employee ID of Maria. So let me open order table. Hybrid inverter, employee ID. So it's not showing Maria, but what is stored in the table is the employee ID of Maria. But what we viewed, it shows us the name, because that's actually what we wanted. Customer processed by Maria, customer ID, provided customer ID. So assuming you don't also want this to show as customer ID, you want to show it as customer. You want it to show as customer, but yet what you want to appear in the table is the customer ID. You can do it the way we did processed by, where we'll hit the customer ID. But when we wanted to say what will be stored, we selected that what we want to store is actually the customer ID. So we can do that. Just play around with this. And so the last thing we'll do is to save this form. We'll save it. This is actually our order form. So I can call it FRM order. We have actually gone a long way. I think you may need to watch this video again so that the things we have done will be very clear to you. But this is what a form is. It's for viewing data, it's for editing data, and it's for data entry. All this we have demonstrated in this video. Practice. As you practice, you will see how exciting it is when you are doing this thing and getting it by your own self. Have a beautiful day. God bless you. Thank you so much.